Hi everybody, welcome to DIY Hydro. Today I'm going to show you how to build your own 4-bucket hydroponics system. Living in Canada, you can grow your own marijuana now, 4 plants per household. So I'm going to show you how to build a hydroponic system to be able to do so. But let's get started with the tools you're going to need to make this thing. First, you're going to need some rubber gloves. They always come in handy. I put these on to build everything here. Jigsaw. You need a jigsaw to cut the bigger holes in the tops of your buckets. Circular saw. You're going to need this here. It's a 4.5-inch size saw to cut the holes in your buckets for your 3-inch bulkheads. A 1-inch hole saw this here for the hole for your plumbing to go into the top of your main module. 3/8 cordless drill. Comes in handy to drill everything. Drill bits, 1/4 inch for your airline, 3/8 for your buckets and the tops of your net pots. And then this here will be 7/16, which is the hole size required for your float filter in your main res here. You're going to need a deburring tool to take off the burrs once you drill all your holes. Small screwdriver to tighten up your hose clamps or move things around. Grab little items. You're going to need filter clamps. These here are adjustable filter clamps that go from 3.5 to 5.5 inch opening size. These here are adjustable pliers, which you'll need for the smaller fittings on your system. Sort of a variety of markers. I got a pencil, gray Sharpie, black Sharpie. The gray Sharpie, of course, works on your black. Some alcohol swabs. These are good to clean off your bulkheads and take off any oils or any dirt or anything from the parts that you're going to be connecting to your buckets. A pair of scissors that'll cut your foil and all your top insulated foil pieces and around your bucket as well. And then this here's a 5/16 socket to tighten down your hose clamps and around your system. You're also going to need this here, ABS cement, which you're going to need to cement all your piping together. And of course your thread sealant. Make sure you use this on all your threads whenever you're doing any kind of plumbing. But this here particular sealant here is good for potable water, so it's solvent-free, lead-free, chemical-free, basically good to use on, like I said, potable water, aquariums, and hydroponic systems. Very important that you get that. And also duct tape. This comes in handy for taping things down to a line to adjust before you drill or as you drill. Comes in handy as well. Alright, that about covers it for tools. Now I guess we can get started on building our system here. As you can see, it's a 4-bucket deep recirculating deep water culture. High output, of course, with the big plumbing. Also the big buckets for big root growth, and also you got the 3-inch plumbing so you don't get any root clogs in your system. Also it helps for good nutrient transfer to your plants. All right, that's it. Let's get started. Let's build it. Inside our first box here, looks like we've got our 4 13-gallon modules. Pull out here, set them on the ground, and then here's the lid. There's 2 lids, and then inside here we've got 8 large air stones. Got 8 of these. Alright, now let's open up this here other box here. Alright. So we've got our 1-inch bead line here. box with our Y filter, 1-inch filter. Our other 2 lids for our 13-gallon modules. Here we have a return pipe that goes into your module end. This here comes with also these here caps in case you want to test your system to make sure it's watertight and all your 13-gallon reses. We'll just set that aside there. Take this out. Set that aside. Also comes, this here's your return. It also comes with a sealed tester to test your reservoirs once you get them all hooked up. And also here we have your base module and your base module coupler. Alright, now we have this all out of the boxes. We'll just get these air stones out of here. We can just set them aside. Plus you get these nice fancy boxes. Okay. That's it for the boxes. Let's set them aside along with these other units here. Okay. Now let's start. We'll take off these 4 lids. Inside you'll see you have your bulkheads. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now these are like high quality bulkheads. They're not thin by no means. They're really good quality. They're not got good threads on them, good quality gaskets. Here, I believe I forget what they call them. It's like roofing bed gasket rubber. They're good quality. They don't leak anyways. Alright. Remember, they're left-hand threads, these bulkheads. They're not normal like regular threads. They're left-hand to tighten and then right-hand to loosen these. Alright. Inside this here box here, comes with your 3/4 inch union ball valve, 1 inch union ball valve. Set those aside. Here's your float valve for inside of your reservoir. All the hardware to put your buckets together on the top of your buckets there. And the plumbing from your, this goes from your pump, and then it goes up, and then this here takes a turn, goes onto your 3/4 inch. We'll get to that later. And there's parts here, and then of course here's your air pump, and here's your water pump. Put that box aside. Okay. Now to get started, first of all, we'll clear ourselves up a little bit of an area here. Here we got a pretty small area. It's always nice to have as much as you can. Right on, we got the cat here. Hey, Kiki. Alright, I'll take your back one here and you'll turn it around, because as you can see, these here point up, this here points down a little bit. And we want that to point down in order for the good drainage and to get it to the bottom of your pipe. And we'll set this other one around there. Take your buckets, set them out. Okay, it's just that simple. Okay, now, next thing we'll do is you take your 1 inch feed line here. Now, the 1 inch end here, inlet, will go to the back end, and well, this here's actual 1.5 inches, sorry, 1.5 inches will screw into your back. The 1 inch will go to the front. So that there, we'll just lay this right down in there for now. Okay, there we go. first step we'll do is we'll start at this end here. This here's where your reservoir will be. Now let's have a look inside of the reservoir, what we got in here. Here we have two liners for your center pipes between your buckets, which are Velcro here for insulation and also to reflect the light. We have two of those. Let's see, we have 4 lines here with T's. Okay, these are where your air stones will end up on the end of here. You have 2 per bucket. Okay. These here are your 8-inch net pots. Okay, they got 4 here. That's 1 per module. These here are your 3-inch module connectors. These here are actually, because the modules aren't perfectly straight up and down, they're at a bit of an angle. It's what the heck, it's like 5.65 or 5.75 degrees. So these here allow a little bit of flex, so you're not adding stress onto your buckets, so that you get more life out of your unit. Okay, you get 2 of these in there. Also, you get 4 lengths of airline, anywhere from about 5 to 6 feet long. Then you also have the connecting piece that goes at the very back of your module setup. This here is for your return line. Okay. This here is a reflective insulator for your module. Your reservoir, your main reservoir here. It's all Velcroed in place, all cut out to fit nice and tight, which you'll see this later. And then we also have 4 reflective tops for your modular buckets here. Okay. Alright, we'll just set all that aside. So basically we just have our containers and some of our plumbing laid out over here. We're going to need these here as well, so we'll take these as well. Okay. Now, give yourself a little bit of room. Pull these back from our first 2. We'll set those there. Okay, now you can see the basic layout. You got your 2 modules here, your 2 modules there, your connector pipes here. There's your return manifold pipe, 3-inch. And here's your inlet, basically where the water comes out of your main reservoir here. Okay, now let's get started in building this thing. First thing you want to do is you take one of your bulkheads here, reverse thread now, so remember you're turning it right to loosen it. Okay. Now, on these here, because these here are actually being used to compress this bulkhead in against your bucket here, like this will go in, this here nut actually goes on to compress this bulkhead. Okay, so that goes on like that. Alright, now that'll compress the bulkhead, so you don't need to put any pipe dope or any thread sealant on these threads, because this is acting as a compression fitting. As you screw this tight, it's pushing the bulkhead here against the bucket, which was pushing the seal against the bucket, which creates your seal. So you don't need to add any, because there's no water going to be out here, so there's no leak going to happen on that end of things. So just to let you know. But every other thread that you end up putting on, make sure you use this stuff. Okay, now this is just for demonstration purposes to show you guys how to set this system up or how you can make it. These buckets are available at your Home Depot store. 4.5-inch holes on either end, and I got a 1/4-inch hole up in here for your airline. Okay, available at Home Depot. Home Depot. These bulkheads are available at any co-op, PV Mart. They're available. You can find them. You just have to look for them. Anywhere from 25, 30 bucks. You might even get them as low as 20, but you got to source it out. You got to search for it. You got to find it, but they are available locally. All right. So now what we do is we take the cap off of this here bulkhead here, and then you take it and you put it on the inside of your pipe like that. Okay. Take your other bulkhead. See the same thing over here. You take this here. Put it around your pipe like that. Okay. Now what I like to do is this here is where these alcohol pads come into play. I like to take an alcohol pad. Alright, I usually take these here seals off here. Take these rubbers off here, okay. Now make sure that you're going to set this here in the bucket here where it's nice and clean and dry, wherever. Okay, you take one of these here gauze pads from your toolbox there. Okay, you just take this out like this. You like to take this rubber gasket here and just loop around like that. Now I'm taking off all any impurities, any oils, any crap, any grunge, any grime. Potentially that could be on this from storage or sitting around for a while, you never know. Okay, we just go like that. I like to take this here where the gasket sits up against it. Oops, so you can already see there's some material on there. So make sure you're doing this. Clean this up with a nice alcohol gauze pad here you still got. Okay, you only really need to do this on the inside. The outside don't matter. Okay, and then inside of your bucket here, you take your pad and you just wipe the inside surface of that there. Okay, get that all nice and clean, any oils or greases or debris or whatever from shipping, blah blah blah. Alright, now you would do that to anything you do with all your gaskets, all your bulkheads. You do that prior to install. And once you know, you let it dry pretty quick. It's alcohol, it dries pretty fast. And you put your bulkhead and gasket back on here on this side. Okay. Okay, now you just make sure that it sits flat. It's off your threads on the inside, that it's nice and flat. It should sit really nice and snug and flat, just like that, okay? Now, with your rings on the inside here on both sides, you take your pipe dope, okay? Just to show you what it's like. Most pipe dope that's solvent free or clear solvents or doesn't have any smells or leaks. You can see it has like a blue color to it. Plus, if you smell it, you can't smell much. It just smells like paste that you ate in school as a kid. But really, it's right. And it comes with its nice little brush applicator here. Okay, you just brush those on the threads. You know, you don't have to be shy. You can be liberal with it. But I've already got a system set up. A couple of them actually, so I don't really want to set this system up or put it on here. Just for the fact somebody else might want it, and I don't want to mess up the threads right now. But this stuff here is thread sealing, like I say, solvent-free, lead-free, anything that's good for potable water, aquariums, hydroponics. Make sure to read the labels. It's good to go. Okay, now you put this on these threads because these will be exposed to the water. Bless you. These will be exposed to the water. So this part in here, there's water going through, threads here, it's all exposed. So make sure you put your pipe dope on these threads, put your pipe dope on these threads as well. Then you just take your bulkhead like this. Now you can push this bucket aside, because remember you got dope in there, you don't want to get it everywhere. And you just put this in here, and you just thread that on. Okay? Thread it on, just nice and tight. Yeah. Okay, usually about a bit of an eighth of an inch, quarter of an inch there. That's usually pretty fine. There's no worries there. And you take this here, locking collar. Remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. But in this case, it's the other way around. So we'll just put that on. Okay, we don't want it too tight. We want a little bit. Okay, so we're just barely touching. Okay. Just a little bit tight, okay? Make sure you're centered in the bucket. There's a lip under there, make sure you're above that. Make sure you're centered in here in the bucket, you got a little bit of movement. And then make sure it's up a little bit too. You don't want to be catching that crease. Alright, so that's just snug there, not too tight, just you can still loosen this off, okay? Then you go over to this side, this bucket here. Okay? And then we do the same thing on this side. Alright, put that in there. You got your thread pipe dope on these threads here, ready to go. You take your collar. Your gasket's been cleaned with the alcohol. You've already rubbed that down and reinstalled your gasket on, ready to go. You wipe this down with alcohol. Clean all your surfaces, very important. Alright, now you just take this here and just thread it on. Okay, tighten up. It's tight. Okay, usually you're up against that nozzle right there and you're bang. Okay, put that in there. Take this here.
snug now. You only feel the bottom of the bucket. And bring it up so she's fairly snug. And make sure you're centered pretty good. Give it a little snug. Alright, you're golden there. Okay, now that's all. Install those here. Your hose. You got your 1 inch end here. And you got your 1.5 inch end here. Okay, now make sure that this is underneath here. Actually, you don't even have to do that yet. We'll just pull that, okay? Okay. Alright, now if these are sitting a little higher here and there, don't worry about that. By the time you're done setting the system up, everything will be sitting nice. Okay. Take this here. Got your bulkheads. Okay. Clean them all up. Clean up all your threads. Okay. Take this one here first and over here. Screw that in there. Okay. Make sure she's nice and tight. Okay. And you take off your piece like this into the bucket. Okay. It's so hard to get used to this. Alright, there we go. There's a little getting used to the right hand, left hand thread deal, but okay, so we want to keep that loose in there. Keep that to the top. Alright. Okay. Now, you take this here, make sure you got that there, thread dopes on here, thread dope, okay, cleaned up, alcohol, gauze pad, everything clean. You go in here like this. Thread that on as tight as you can. Okay, grab your channel locks here. Okay, now put it on here, being careful not to damage your gasket, don't pinch your gasket, whatever you do. Okay, you got that on there. Grab this here so you don't twist it. You see, you'll twist that. So you grab that, give it a nice quarter turn, and there you go. Okay, quarter turn into the turn. Then you take this here, screw that on. Alright, make sure these are at the top. Alright, now we'll screw this one on, get it fairly snug there, and then we'll make this one here, get it fairly snug as well. Okay, everything centered, nice, good. Okay, we're getting snug. At least I think we are. Okay, we're snugging it in. Okay, we're snug. Okay, now you can see, because the paper, these here bend a bit, that's good, because now you can see the stresses off your bulkheads. Okay, we'll take these here bulkheads. Okay, we'll put on our rear manifold now. Okay, remember put that on there. Dope here. Remember to add this stuff on your threads. Down there. Okay. got that all on. Okay. I've got all our bulkheads on. Now you take your pliers, adjust them as big as you can. And remember, clockwise is loose, so you want to counterclockwise. Alright, first of all, you counterclockwise, make sure they're all hand tight. Okay. Counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. Counterclockwise, we're good. Everything's all nice and snug. Okay. Counterclockwise, snug. Alright, now with all of them snug, make sure everything's good. Make sure that everything's just above the lip there on the bottom side here. Everything's good. Everything's centered, good. And the lip above nicely. Okay, now you take your bulkhead.
Take your adjustable pliers. And remember now, clockwise, you want to go counterclockwise to tighten.
So you take your pliers and you give it a quarter of a turn. Okay, quarter of a turn. Okay, let's do that to all of our bulkheads.
Okay, take a minute. Alright, we've tightened up all our bulkheads now. Everything's good to go. Now we'll take this here pipe. Okay, now at this point here with all your bulkheads tightened, what I like to do is, I got your cap here, you got your cap there. Okay, take your pliers, your adjustable pliers, tighten up your caps. Okay. Tighten up this cap here. Okay, now what you can do is you can fill up your buckets to just above here, check for any leaks. I'm not going to do that, but usually I'll do that to check for leaks. Usually if you put all your dope on properly, you've tightened up your bulkheads a quarter of a turn on all your joints, you don't have any leaks. The likelihood of leaks are just ain't gonna happen. Alright, so once you've drained your system, you take off your caps. Okay. Everything's pretty sturdy. You can move this thing around. You're not going to have any issues with nothing. Alright. You take your main reservoir.
And your reservoir fitting.
Pipe dope. Alright. Take your pipe dope, add it to your threads.
Nice and hand tight as you can is usually good enough. And you take your last bulkhead. Remember now, right hand.
Opposite threads here. And you clean up with alcohol again here and here. And then the inside of your, right in here, alcohol, you clean that all up. Put this on here. Screw on your bulkhead.
About maybe a 1/8 of an inch gap in here. Sometimes you're tight, but with the pipe dope on there, usually it's pretty good. Get this here as tight as you can, and that's usually pretty golden. got your hand tight. Now what you do, go back over here and grab our channel locks. And now opposite hand thread. So to tighten it, it's like we're going to loosen them off. So okay, and the cord on the turn. Okay, now there you go. Now that's all set up there. Okay, we can close that up. This is all golden. Now, what we need to do is grab our adapter cap here. Once again, you add dope thread sealant to there, okay? And then we screw it into here. Okay, as tight as you can, good. And now you take this here, a little bit of dope, okay? And then you get it into there. Stirred. Get a turn in there. Okay, once you get it snug like that, take your channel locks here. Okay. Now put it on here. Be careful you don't get your threads. And give her a little bit of a turn. About a quarter turn, eighth of a turn on the smaller threads. Okay, now we'll just take this back, lift that up, and put it underneath your pipe here. Okay. Now this here, once you get water in there, and this here will actually help support that a bit. So, plus the flow is all like downhill coming into your pump, so there's less amount of pressure to pull. All right, now for our next deal here. We got to that point. Okay, well, let's take a minute. We'll go to the lids. Let me show you how the lids go together now. Okay, first of all, we'll take one of our buckets here. We'll set that in place. Okay. Then you take your buckets, you line up the holes. Usually all work together the same. Got a bag of hardware here that comes with the container. Each one comes with a washer, a smaller washer, 2 nuts, 2 larger washers, and a butterfly nut, and a 2-inch bolt. Okay, the first we'll do is we'll take this off, like this, and take these, the butt nuts off. Okay, and we'll just set these on the floor here. Take off your 2 nuts. Okay, so now you're left with the bolt and the washer. And you'll take that like that, flip it up, put this in the bottom hole with your washer, and you see it comes up through. Take your smaller washer, and put it on top, take one of the nuts, and you tighten that down like that. Okay. And then of course we do the same for the rest of the 4. Okay, now once you got all the 4 bolts in there, you can just, press down on your bucket lid a bit, hold up on the bolt, give it a spin with your finger. Okay, press down, give it a spin with your finger, press down, give it a little spin till they're tight, press down, pull up on the bolt, screw with your other finger. Good enough, okay? Now you take another nut, oops, take another nut, and on top of each one, oh man, I'm gonna have to get a screwdriver to get that one out of there, but anyways. Top of each one. Okay, now with your handy dandy tools, I just snap these. screwdriver here. Come in handy to get in some of these here tight spaces to get some of these things out if it happens. Alright? Okay. Okay, now with that done, you just hold the bottom one with your finger. Tighten down the top one. Okay. You don't need nothing stupid tighter. Okay. Now that you've got that done, take a flat washer here. Put our flat washers onto there, okay? Then you grab your reflective lid here. Okay, you can have this on any side you want, no matter, all the holes are uniform to line up. Okay, put that on top of there. And you take the other flat washers, put it on top of there. Okay. And just nut that down. Okay. Okay, now there we go. There's a top right there finished. Okay, now that we've got all our lids done up here, let's move on to the main reservoir. Alright, first of all what we'll do is take our float valve. Okay. Undo this. Take this off here. You know, we all know that it works this way here. This here is the way the flow is, of course. Make sure your washer's on the inside of the water side. Okay, make sure you got no debris or anything on there. Okay, on we go. Put on your nut. Okay, there's your float valve. You can leave that aside for now. Okay. Now we'll take our piece here. Now this here is where masking tape will come in handy. Okay, now all you gotta do with this here is you take, of course, the big hole goes to the back. Okay, you put it at a bit of an angle like that. Close this one. Okay. Now up in here there's some grooves, slots that go up inside of here. Alright, and that comes like so. Okay, now first we'll take this side here, keep it tucked around inside. Make sure it fits. There's little slots in here, and there's grooves in here for your slots. So just keep bringing that around. Okay, make sure you're tight at the bottom. And watch the back side when you pull it tight, okay? Here's your masking tape. Here's your masking tape, comes in handy. Okay, take a piece of masking tape. Make sure that this here is pulled tight. Just put a piece just like so. Okay. Probably wouldn't hurt to take another piece. Just like so. A little tight. Probably wouldn't hurt to take another piece here. Get the tape up here. Okay. So we'll take this to the same thing, tuck it all in. Okay. Just all tucked in. See the hole here for your intake. Okay, now as you can see, your Velcro strips are all there. Just line them up. And then voila. There's your liner on your butt. Okay? Here's your hole here. You can take this piece and put it on here for now temporarily so you don't lose it. Alright, everything's in here. All your bulkheads are tight. Everything's been doped up. Everything's leak proof. Okay? Now what we'll do here is while we're on the insulating tour, here's your pipe insulators here that we've doing, talking about. All you do is simply take the one end here, your end that's on here, you push it underneath, okay? Bring it around, and have that right on top. It covers up your clamps, okay? And plus it insulates your hose, keeps any light or anything out of there, all right? And you see the same thing over here. Up and around, on top, very nice Velcro, voila, okay, there you go, all right? Okay, now for our next thing we'll take here, we'll take our pump, we'll take our inline filter, and then we'll take the plumbing that comes with the kit, that you can get at any hardware store. Sorry, this is all hardware store bought things. Everything you see here you can buy in a hardware store and do it yourself. I'm showing you how to do it. And if you don't want to do it, I'll sell you one done. You just got to put it together like we're doing here. Okay, now what we'll do is we will take our fitting, our union valve. Shows here, you can see, if I can see that, the flow. Now make sure that your flow is in the direction of your flow, of course. So the first thing we'll do with that is undo the side, opposite to the side where it's flowing in. Now watch these rubbers. Okay, set that aside. Okay, now you take this here, put that on like that, and then take this and thread that on. Okay, and make sure you put your bike dope on there, thread seal, and then you just tighten that up. Okay, tight as you can. Alright, that's good. Now I'll take this here, now what we'll do is we'll just take this rubber out and just set that aside for now. Alright, so we don't lose it. And then you take this end here, and then you screw, sorry, wrong end. Now you take your filter out. Now this filter is a 1-inch filter. It's 1-inch fittings on either end. Let's take it apart right here and show you. As you can see, it's got a wire mesh, 120 mesh filter screen to take out any stuff coming from inside of your modules or anything like that before it goes into your pump, before it goes into anything, possibly ruin it or whatever. Okay, let's put that all back together. Okay, now here it also shows flow. You can see flows that way with your flow arrow, so make sure that it's with your flow. Okay, now we'll take our 1-inch valve and we will turn this on. Oops, have to turn that on. Okay, screw that on like that. Okay, now usually we can take this off on this side here. Again, watch your valve spring there. Tighten that up, okay, good enough. Okay, now this here's got your O-ring on there. Put it on there. Okay, and then just put that together. Okay, just make it snug so you're loose a bit there, okay. Alright, now that part will connect. Now you take this connection here and you'll screw it onto this end here. Okay, remember to put dope all your threads. Okay, and then we'll just tighten that up like that. Okay, that's still loose in there. Okay, now with that part complete, now we'll take out our pump. Fittings, and you're going to need the 3/4 inch fitting that fits into this end here. Okay. Now what we'll do is take out the pump. Now this here is going to be submerged in the water into the tank as it is. or this piece here comes off. Okay, then you have this part here on the outside. Now as you can see, this here has a thread and fitting. Okay, now next what we'll do is we'll take the one barb here that fits into your hose. Okay, and then we'll screw that into here. Screw it in nice and tight. Okay. Okay, and the next thing we'll do is we'll take this setup here. Now you gotta be careful here. Screw that into there. Okay. Okay, not too tight. Just like so. Alright. Now, here we go, we have this here. Now we can turn up our valve so it sits like that, and we can tighten our valve up. Okay, that valve's tight in there. Okay, now as you can see, this is what we got right now. This is hooked up to your pump, which is hooked up to your filter, which everything's running through this way. The pump's sucking it up and putting it up into this part up into the reservoir. Okay, now we take this part here. Alright. Now what we'll do with this here is this part here will come apart. Okay, where this washer is, that comes apart. Okay, now take your washer. This all comes, you know, you got this part here. This is where you take your ball valve. Now flow's running up this way up through, so you check your flow. Flows up that way, so you want to have it up like this. This part connects to the top of your flow. Okay. So that goes into there. Gotta loosen these off. Take this one off here at the top. Watch a little ring there. And I'll tighten that up. Make sure you got your thread open here. Alright, just like so. Okay, then you take this part here, we just set that down. Now take this here, and you'll thread it in on this side of this one. Okay. Make sure you tighten that up. Take this right off. Okay, there's that O-ring. Be careful you don't lose these O-rings. Okay. Now we'll just take this here. Tighten that up. Okay, boom, that's tight. Now, remember your flow. Flow is going that way, so we want to have flows running that way, so this here will connect to this part. Okay, you can see flow, flow. Okay, now this here is going to come on the outside, and that'll sit like that. Okay, so now what you want to do is tighten this up. Stays right there, kind of. Okay. And you want to take this part here. Okay, and we can set this down. The real rings there. Don't set that on anything. Okay, now take this part here with the O-ring, with your gas, with your washer. Okay. Now let's go into the reservoir. You take this fitting here. Okay, that goes into here. Through the insulation, okay, and then your washer will go on this side like that, alright, and then this part here will thread onto that. Okay, once you get it like so, then thread from this side, okay, now you keep going, bringing it around, okay, so it's positioned like that. This here, you can adjust that a bit, but you want this up and down pretty much. Alright, now, you take your pump, and you line it up in position with there. Don't forget about your O-ring. And then this one here. Now, you take this part here, and you slide it over top of your connection. Push it down tight, put this into your union. Okay. Tighten down your union. like so. Okay. Now, take your sea clamper, you can loosen that off. Okay, get that ready. Alright, now take this here part here and get that in there. Don't forget the O-ring now. You can take your alcohol pad to clean that off. Just make sure that that's sitting in there and it's seated properly. Okay, put that in. Tighten up your union, okay? Okay, just like so. Alright, now with that in place, and this all in place. Okay, you ready there? Okay, now that's all in place like that there. Alright, now you make sure everything's tight. Well, our unions are all tight in here. Everything's tight. Tight, tight. Okay, now we're good. Alright, now you come up to here. Everything's pretty much connected on your pump side.
Okay, first of all, you take this here part line, you go to your bucket. Okay. Now you put this into here, and there it sits. And then you'll take the two large air stones, and of course you'll just plug it into there, and plug this one into there. Okay. And then you'll take one of your 4 6-foot airlines. Okay. 4 here. I'll take one. Go underneath the manifold here. Okay. And then plug it in. Okay, plug it in there. And then you do it to the rest of them, alright? Okay, once you have all the T's connected, we have all our lines running down, our stones are all connected, alright? We have all our lines here. Okay. It's also important too, all these airlines here are all cut to the same length. So they're all cut to about, I don't know, 5.5 feet, 6 feet long. Okay, here's all your 4 ends. Then you take your air pump that came in with your package, or you can get it at any local hardware store again. Okay. Take it out of the box. Then it comes with this here handy dandy manifold. Alright. Take your pump out of the bag. Okay, just like so. Yeah, you take this end here, you screw it into your end here. Alright. And you take a wrench and you tighten that up, of course. Okay. Okay, now that we're tight, you got your manifold sitting there, and your plug-ins here. Okay, now you take each one of these lines, and you just plug it into your manifolds here. Okay. However you want, it don't really matter. You have 2 here on the outside, 2 there on that side. And you plug those in. Okay, those are on. You don't need these ones, so you turn those off, okay? Alright. There you go. If you come over to this side here, here you have your plugins at the back of your reservoir. You just take those in and plug them into your power bar. Here you have your float. Your reservoir brings the water in. Okay. And that is good to go. Okay, now the best thing I like about this here is you've got your valves here. You can turn these on and off to service your filter or to service your pump. Okay, and then here you have this connection here. You can unbolt and then use your pump to pump out your system. Okay, and then turn this back on, turn that back on, and away you go. All right, it's just that simple. So yeah, there it is, folks. The high output running deep water culture, recirculating deep water culture system. If you have any questions or comments, concerns, or anything, I really wish you'd comment on the page. And if you like this video, please like. Like I said, everything here you can buy at your Home Depot store, at your local co-op store, your local Rona, wherever any home hardware store you want to do the research, you'll find it. Okay? Now, that concludes the video for today. I hope you liked it. Peace out and happy growing.